Hello everyone! Welcome to a new Attendo video. In this tutorial, we'll explore the Dependency Manager module, an essential tool for managing your Attendo modules and their dependencies. In this tutorial, we'll cover the complete process, from installation to handling updates, so that you can confidently manage all your dependencies. By the end of this video, you'll know how to install a complete bundle, to choose which modules to install from the bundle, or to only install separate modules. Also, you'll be able to handle local dependencies and manage versions, delete modules, and change format. As a first step, we will guide you through the installation of the Attendo Dependency Manager module, which enables seamless package management within the Attendo Classic interface. To begin, add the dependency to the Build Gradle file under the Dependencies section. Ensure that your Gradle plugin version is 1.4.0 or higher by checking the plugin section of the same file. Once verified, run the command Gradle Update Database SmartBuild in your terminal to complete the installation. Remember that you will find this updated information in the video description. To ensure you always have the latest package information, Attendo Dependency Manager allows you different ways to keep the package list up to date. When you run the Tomcat service, it automatically launches a process that updates the packages, which guarantees that when you compile the environment, you will always get the latest packages. Anyway, there are also manual ways to do it. The first one is from the Update Packages information window logged in a System Administrator role. You can execute this process manually, ensuring that your list of packages reflects the most current data available. You can also run this process from the Module Management window. Simply select a module and click the Update Packages button. Let's start with an example about installing a bundle and its dependencies. Log in as the System Administrator to access the Module Management window. In this window, you'll see a list of all bundles and modules, and this version's available in the Versions tab and the range of core compatibility. As we can see, if we are installing a version that is not compatible with the current Attendo Classic version, we are informed, but we can do so at our own risk. Then, the dependencies of each version are shown. You can install all of them or choose which dependencies to install. Here we can select the modules to install, and in the lower grid, we will see all the dependencies that will be installed with the selected modules. After executing the process, the Dependency Management window is automatically open, and you'll be able to see the added dependencies. Remember that by default, all dependencies are added in source format. Let's take a closer look at the important fields in this window. First, the group and artifact fields together represent the Java package of the module or dependency. You can also see the version field, indicating the dependency version, and the format field, which describes the format of the dependency. It can be source, which means that the source code must be downloaded in the modules folder jar format, which means that it is a dynamic dependency without access to source code, precompiled and distributed in this Java standard or local format to identify customer custom developments that do not have to be Gradle dependencies and possibly have Git tracking. The installation status field tracks the current state of the dependency. For instance, when a dependency is added or updated, it will initially have a status of pending download. After compiling the environment, the status changes to installed. Module is a reference to the module definition. When we finish this example, the modules will be installed, and you will see these complete references. The version status informs if there are updates available or not. The status can be untracked, update available, or updated. For example, let's look at the OpenCSV module of the financial package. It is untracked since it is in jar format, and it is an external dependency, so it does not belong to the Attendo software repositories. Another important feature is the external dependency column. This identifies external libraries or modules required by the project, which are managed by Gradle and retrieved from remote repositories during the build process. Now, let's install the dependencies. To install the dependencies that are in pending to download status, first run the command gradexpand modules in the terminal. This command downloads all the dependencies in source format. After executing this command in the modules folder, you will find all the downloaded modules. In case the dependencies to be installed are in jar format, it is not necessary to execute this command since they are resolved dynamically during installation. Then run the Gradle command update database compile complete SmartBuild to effectively compile and install the modules. Update Tomcat, the installation status changes to installed, and it shows the installed module related. to uninstall dependencies, we select a registry and execute the delete dependency process. For example, we will delete the payment removal module. As we can see in this warning message, being a module in sources format, we have to delete the source code and compile again. In the case of jar format, it is only necessary to delete the dependency and recompile. Additionally, if you need to update or downgrade a module version, you can use the Change Version button. This process not only updates the module, but also checks for any changes in its dependencies, ensuring everything remains compatible. For example, as we see in this case, the bulk posting module is outdated, and we will update it to the latest version available. As you can see, it is necessary to recompile to see the change apply. Note that if there is a dependency installed and you want to add a bundle or the same dependency in a minor version from the module management window, Attendo will show an error, preventing you from installing an obsolete version and avoiding possible compatibility problems. If you still need to continue, you will have to downgrade manually using the Change Version button. Now we are going to explain the format change process. For example, we select a dependency such as GL Journal in source code format, and we change the format to jar, as this validation clarifies it is necessary to remove the module code. To do this, in our development environment, we search for the module and delete it. For the change to be applied, it is necessary to compile the environment. When we compile the environment, what will happen is that the dynamic dependency will be downloaded. In the build folder, we can see that this dynamic dependency is downloaded and installed. In the dependency management window, we can see the module installed correctly again. The reverse process is simpler. We make the change from jar to source format. We only have to download the package and recompile the environment. Next, let's look at local dependencies. Suppose we have modules installed in our environment, but their dependencies are not declared in the dependency management window. In this case, we can run the Add Local Dependencies process. This process checks all modules that are not declared as dependencies and adds them as local dependencies. As seen in this example, after execution, there are 4 new dependencies. Now let's differentiate the dependencies that are client customizations, like this example module that will always remain local. However, if we select a dependency that exists in Attendo repositories, for example Docker, the Change Format button becomes available, allowing us to migrate it to either source or jar format. Keep in mind that local changes may be lost, as the latest compatible version with the current core will be downloaded in the next compilation. This concludes our tutorial about the Dependency Manager module. For more information, visit the link in the description below. That's all for now. See you in the next video.